Hello everybody and welcome to Game A Dayer. It is day 280 here on Game A Dayer. My name is Step and today it is a Sunday, which means it is story time here on Game A Dayer, and today we are going to be playing The Agency, Chapter 1. The Agency is an episodic mystery kinetic novel in a fictional dystopic sci-fi steampunk world still recovering from the destruction of a recent global war. A young man travels to the imperial capital city to seek better fortunes for himself. This game has mostly positive reviews and is available on Steam for $3.29, although you have to buy the second chapter separately. So, we've played something by Sapphire Dragon Productions before. I think it was Last Days of Summer or whatever. Or Last Days of Spring. Anyway, it was not one that I particularly remember enjoying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what to expect. It's got mostly positive reviews, so let's see how it is when we play it. Okay. All right. Chapter 2 on Kickstarter. Okay. Let's have a look at the settings. Sure. Let's just start.
I had never been to the big city before.
Ooh, we get red too.
Our grand and illustrious capital. I'm not sure I ever really wanted to. Somehow these feelings get forgotten or altered in the future. I'd seen it so often in my dreams. A frantic mess of sounds and colors. And finally it stood before me, exactly as I dreamt it. The tall buildings, the bright lights, the noise of traffic. It's fearsome, yet euphoric. Despite my discomfort, I somehow felt that maybe I was where I needed to be. If only for a moment.
Alright. I like that. Or is that... Is it going to be narrated straight through? Silver Wings Bar, Singer Crescent, Skalva City, Ionian Empire. Alright, it looks like it was just narrated in the opening, and that gives you a sort of an idea of how the character is supposed to be. I like that. Hello there, let me guess, you're Marcus Beckwith's kid, aren't you? What's your name? Jonathan Jacob. Jacob. You can call me Jack, or Beckwith. I go by my last name like my dad does. You look just like him. It's scary. Come now, young Beckwith. Let's get you a drink. What will you have? Aha. Soda, whiskey. Well, let's go for a whiskey. A fine choice. Also my favorite on such a cold day. It does have a way of warming the heart, doesn't it, sir? I remember your father saying the same thing to me once. If memory serves me right, you're from Vass, correct? That's right. How are things there? Not good, sir. When I was young, Vass was a great port city with airships and trade routes to many of the other free cities and republics. Ever since the Great War, the importance of economy of Vass has come to a halt. Yes, I've heard. Rest assured, it's not just Vass that has suffered this unexpected consequences of the Great War. I take it that's why your father has sent you here, to seek better fortunes? Yes, sir. Your father's a good man. I remember him serving with him in the Imperial Fleet. He was one of the best gunnery sergeants on my airship. He called me yesterday to tell me you were coming. So, did he tell you what we do here? All he told me was to travel to Skalva, find a bar called the Silver Wings, and inquire for Captain Stendhal. I see your father seems to have a lot of faith in me. Indeed he does, sir. He speaks of you in the highest regards, and said that there was no one in the entire Imperial fleet that he admired more. I've heard the stories of the Great War and of your heroics. It's an honor to be here, Captain. I may have been a hero back then, but things have changed a lot since the war. The Empire has changed. Everything has changed. Now I'm just another guy in the city living from paycheck to paycheck. Anyway, enough of that. Come, let's move to the back of the bar so we can talk more in private. Here's your drink. Thank you, sir. So, is this what you do now? You run the bar? The bar is just a front. In reality, I run an agency of private investigators. Private investigators? So you're a detective? One could say that, amongst other things. Other things? When the war ended, the Empire suddenly found itself with hundreds of thousands of unemployed soldiers. That, paired with the economic crash that happened due to the Empire's mass spending on the war effort, meant a lot of people very quickly found themselves without a job. A lot of these soldiers eventually turned to thuggery, working for crime syndicates and even in small bands. The Emperor tried to solve this problem by trying to increase the ranks of the police force, giving many veterans a new career. But alas, with the Emperor's coffers empty, she could not sustain an honest and effective police force. So many instead rely on us private investigators for justice and, oftentimes, protection. Protection? So you perform bodyguard work too? Yes, only when we really need the money though. It's dangerous work. I've lost a lot of good men doing personal protection jobs in the past, so I plan to do it as little as possible in the future. I still don't see why you need the bar as a front, sir. When you're in this business, you find that you make a lot of enemies very quickly, so anonymity is an advantage. We don't advertise or anything like that. We get work from something, people coming in probably. Besides, I like having my own bar where I can drink my worries away. That makes sense. So, how do I fit into all this, sir? I need a new codebreaker. Codebreaker? Yes, I lost my codebreaker on my last case. It was rather tragic, really. So young, so talented. What happened to them? Well... Theo, welcome back. Any news on Lansbury? Not a thing, but been asking around, and no one's seen him for days. That's odd. Not the first time he's been in the field so long, though. Maybe his case took him out of Skalva. Perhaps. Have you been to the Dragonfly? Didn't have time. I just put in a phone call. And? They said Hull was out running errands. Very well. He'll get back to me. Oh, yes, Beckwith. This is my daughter, Theo. Theo, this is Jack Beckwith, the son of one of my old gunnery sergeants. Beckwith here is our new codebreaker. Are you any good? I'm a quick learner. You'd better be. Our last codebreaker was one of the best, and he's now lying at the bottom of the Elmore Canal. Fiona, enough. Please go upstairs and get our guest a towel, a blanket, and some pillows. Fine. I'm sure you'll find a place to stay in time. For now, you're welcome to sleep at the bar. I'll tell the barkeep to close up early so you can get some rest now. That's very kind of you, sir. About the code breaking? Just get some rest, kid. I'm sure it's been a tiring trip from class. Theo and I will take you through it tomorrow. Thanks again, sir. Don't thank me till you know what the job entails. Sleep well, kiddo. Here you go. There's a kitchen behind the bar. Feel free to any of the leftover sandwiches. Please don't cook anything new. There's a remote for the bar TV is next to the cooler. Try to keep it down, yeah? There is a staff bathroom behind the kitchen. Here's the key. I recommend you take your showers at night. Why? No hot water in the morning. Yikes. Okay, that's it. Good night. Thanks for all that. Good night.
I've always had very colourful and vivid dreams. They were wonderful and felt ever so real to me. I would wake up and remember every single detail, as if I had just finished watching a film at the cinema. When I was a schoolboy, I would ask my friends in the playground if they remembered their dreams so well. Most of them said they could barely remember anything. Some would recollect a few simple details, and others had a vague and basic storyline at best. But none of them seemed to experience dreams quite the way I did. Only now do I realize how lucky I was. I was a young boy with beautiful dreams. Others weren't so lucky. Others were born outside the Empire. I doubt their dreams were very beautiful.
So far, I'm impressed. The story's simple so far, but the production quality, considering, Wow. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. Morning, kid. Did you sleep okay? Got a few winks in. Don't worry, you'll get used to the sound of the city. Before you know it, you won't be able to sleep without the noise. So I begin my training as a codebreaker today, sir. Yes, as soon as Theo comes in, with the training woodshells. Woodshells? Here she is now. Thanks for going out and getting these, darling. No problem, Dad. So, here they are, woodshells. Here they are, woodshells. They look like normal wooden coasters. Exactly. They're made to look inconspicuous, but deep inside they hold a lot of information and are used as security locks to access data, or are often themselves used to transport sensitive information. Here, let me explain how they work. Before these were invented, thieves were able to use their droids to hack into a digital system rather easily. Many times they would just send in a droid by itself into a targeted information server, and if the droid got caught, they would simply instruct it to auto-destruct. The thief never risked getting caught themselves. This was put to an end thanks to these, as these have a two-step security system. Two-step? Yes, first the hacker must break into it and open up the scrambled image. Then the codebreakers must try to manually put together the scrambled image to either disable the lockdown or get into the information in the inside. And no droid can do this? No single droid can. And for the code-breaking part, it must be a human because the canvas that holds the scrambled image cannot be moved electronically. It can only be moved manually. No current droid that we know of can be that sensitive and identify images as well as humans do. Find all the buses in the CAPTCHA. Got it. Even for human teams, it takes minimum 2 people to do this. The hacker can't do both jobs? No, wood shells constantly change their security parameters, so the hacker has to keep up with them. Normally, they're too busy doing that and then unscramble the image too. Theo is our best hacker. You'll be working together a lot when we have to work on wood shells. Anyway, enough explanation. The best way for you to truly understand this is to go have a go yourself. Theo, let's start him on the first one. Sure. Are you ready? I am so ready. Okay. I don't... Aha. Okay, so it's gonna go this way. Interesting. Whoop. Whoop. Code breaking 75 moves. Alright, so I need to get faster and use less moves. Now I get it. Isn't it rather strange they call it a code breaker? Shouldn't be unscrambler? I guess it is a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Nevertheless, the industry just got stuck on the term. Besides, Unscrambler is such an ugly-sounding title. Let's try another one. Yes, let's. Alright, so, the... Aha. The point is to do it in the fewest moves. This is going to be at the top, isn't it? I've already buggered it up a little bit. Oh well. Nope, that's definitely that. 43 moves. That's much better. Beginning to get the hang of it, kid. Yes, I think so. Okay then, let's do one more. Oh dear. Oh, I know this picture. Which is the outside? Where does it meet up? Does it meet up like that? No. It's got to be the outside, doesn't it? Huzzah! 43 moves again. I guess that's gonna be my standard. That's all we have time for. Grab your coat, kid. We need to get going. Where are we going, sir? Old friend of mine called me today. Told me he needed a favor. Who called, Dad? Admiral Cullen. Told me that an old friend of his needs a detective. Any idea who? I know exactly who it is. Lord Mortimer, Duke of Regnal. Who's that? Cousin to the Emperor and Duke of one of the richest provinces of the Empire. Enough talking. He's currently in his city residence, and that's all the way in Northridge. It will take us at least an hour to get there from here, so let's get moving. Exciting. Asterfield's Tower, Northridge, Scalva City, Ionian Empire. How clean. Wow, this is really nice. I've never seen such a nice apartment before in my life. Welcome to Northridge, second richest ward in Scalva City. And the richest? The Imperial Ground? King's Quarter, where the Emperor and all the princes and their families live. Of course. If I may ask, sir, why is Flo waiting outside? Fio, not Flo. Fio. She's guarding the door. Normally, these conversations are extremely sensitive and involve very important people, so it's a good security measure. On top of that, Fio has a way of intimidating clients, so I've learned to keep them away from her. I could get used to this. Don't get too comfortable. Lord Mortimer's valet said he'll be out in a few minutes. Captain Sendel, welcome to my home. Your Excellency. And this is? This is my assistant. He's called Beckwith. My lord? Most private investigators I know don't travel in convoys. Dangerous times, my lord. Safer to travel with a bit of muscle. If you'd prefer, I can ask my assistant to stand outside. It isn't necessary. He'll find out later anyway. Besides, Admiral Cullen has spoken very highly of you, so I know any man of you trust, I can trust too.
Thank you. So, what can I help you with?
4 days ago, something very valuable to me was stolen.
What was it?
A diamond as large as a closed fist.
My God, does such a large diamond truly exist?
Indeed it does. As you probably have heard, I am engaged to marry the daughter of Baron Wakefield of Crow, Lady Aurelia of Crow. As you can expect, the Lady Aurelia is no stranger to luxury, so I made a point of getting her something truly exquisite. I was lucky enough to find this jewel in the Theban People's Museum after we occupied the Theban Peninsula. It was to be her engagement gift, but alas, someone has stolen it.
Have you contacted the police?
Yes, I did, but they've assigned a buffoon to my case. The Neanderthal they sent over could no sooner find his own shadow than find the missing jewel. No doubt this was done to me on purpose. I'm sure you know of the current turmoil in the royal palace.
Indeed I do, Your Excellency. So, where was this jewel when it was stolen?
I kept it in my study. Come with me, I'll show you. I kept the jewel in a safe behind that architectural sculpture you see there.
Your Excellency, who else aside from you has access to this room?
My valet, Hornby, and my chauffeur, Gorman.
And they both have alibis?
Both of them were attending to me at the Imperial Palace when the robbery took place.
What time did the robbery take place?
I left my apartment at 9:30 in the morning to attend to matters at the Imperial Palace, and didn't return until 11 that night.
That's an awfully wide time frame. We have our work cut out for us. Have you spoken to security, my lord?
Yes, I have. They documented everyone that went in and out of the building that day. All either residents or confirmed guests of residents.
No suspicious names there?
All people of high society. This is, after all, one of the most exclusive buildings in Northridge.
I see. Who handles your security?
The entire building's security is handled by Harris and Brothers Security.
And each apartment is not allowed to install their own security measures?
No, the building manager believes that it will risk the integrity of the security system that Harris and Brothers Security has installed.
So they haven't let you look at any of their surveillance data for the day?
Again, the building management said that letting anyone see the information would be a threat to the security of the building and its residents.
You weren't able to use your political position to force the matter?
No, you must remember, Captain, that the other residents of the building are people of extreme power and influence, and are able to block any strings I pull.
I understand. So, Harris and Brothers do the security. Would you know who owns it?
Of course, Colonel Governor Harris heads it. It's one of the most prestigious private security firms in the Empire.
Ah, Colonel Governor Harris.
An acquaintance of yours, Captain?
I had the fortune of meeting him in his famous Regiment of Steel once, prior to the Battle of Oaken Peak. My airship was assigned to protect the carrier that brought his regiment to Oaken Peak. After that, Admiral Cullen requested that we remain and act as support for his regiment. I remember watching the battle from above. Excuse me. I had never seen such fine soldiering as I had that day. His regiment stood at the flank of the entire corps and held back attacks from 3 other regiments. They took a hell of a beating for it. They started out with 1,000 men and ended the battle with less than 400. And yet, despite my strong insistence, they did not allow me to step in and help. Colonel Harris is famous and notorious for his stubbornness. I'll try to talk to him and see if he'll allow me to look through the security files for the building.
Thank you. Anything else you need to know, Captain?
Not for you, Your Excellency, but perhaps if I may have a word with your chauffeur.
I would like to ask him of his precise whereabouts on the day he was with you at the Imperial Palace. I'm assuming that you had him doing deliveries for you? Unfortunately, I had to send him back to Rednall on a personal errand. He'll be back in 2 days. Might you be able to come back then?
Certainly, my lord.
Now about your fee. We needn't discuss that now. I insist. Given the importance and sensitivity of this case, I understand that undertaking this will be quite the effort. Therefore, I am happy to triple your current rate to expedite the process.
Has Admiral Cullen told you my rate?
No, he hasn't.
My current rate is 4,000 crowns base fee with an additional 8,000 on success. So you're offering to pay me 12,000 crowns base fee and 24 crowns on success.
Yes, that jewel is very important to me, and this money spent is nothing in comparison to its value.
You have a deal then, Your Excellency. I'd like my people to search this room for any evidence or clues right away.
Certainly, I'll be in the living room. Please do come by before you leave, so that I can give you your base fee.
Thank you, Lord Mortimer.
So, this is interesting. I'm digging this. Like, visual novels have a lot of potential, and this is kind of living up to it. The art style is a little crude, but, you know, the story's pretty solid, and, you know, let's carry on.
I'll go out and get Theo. I need you to survey the area and look out for anything suspicious.
I've never done this before, sir.
I know. Theo will tell you what to do. I'm going to go and talk to the security manager of the building, then after that, finish up asking Lord Mortimer about all the smaller details regarding the theft. I'll see you later, kid.
Let's get to work. You have to be very careful. Don't break anything and do as I say. I know. Okay, start by looking around the area. Try to look using your eyes instead of your hands, if you know what I mean. Try not to move anything, if possible. Understood. Tell me if you find anything. Anything suspicious or out of place. Alright, search around. Search around fireplace, sure. You find nothing. Check behind sculpture. Find a wood shell. Theo, come check this out. You found a wood shell. Good job. Okay then, let's crack it open.
Okay.
Huh. Birds.
Nice! 40 moves. Probably could have brought that down to 37. Let's go back to the living room to see if my father is done talking to Mortimer. Excuse me. So you've... Excuse me. So you've wrapped up with the Duke? Yes, I have. Is it true? Did he really pay triple rate? Yes, he did. That will keep us till the end of the year. Indeed it will, especially if we find this jewel he speaks of. If? Yes. Real life is rarely like a mystery novel where the heroic detective always solves the case. Hence the existence of the base fee. So, even you can't solve every case? Sometimes there are just too few leads to realistically chase, and sometimes cases get cold too quickly. On that subject, we have something to show you. It can wait. We need to get back home as soon as possible. I won't feel safe till this treasure is back on our turf. There, that feels much better knowing we will have to work for the rest of the year. Especially with that handsome base fee safely at home. Yes, especially that. Theo, have you spoken to the barkeep? Any word from Lansbury? No, nothing. I wonder where he is. Anyway, you two were going to show me something? We found a wood shell in the Duke's study. Have you cracked it yet? Yes, we have. Good job. Let's load up its memory and see what it has. Wow, it's got a lot of data in it. It'll take a while to load. So, where did you find this? Beneath the couch. Really? I guess without his valet there, no one's cleaned the apartment. Still, I'm surprised the police didn't find it. They must have sent a really stupid crew. That's what the Duke said. That's what the Duke said. About that, I've been meaning to ask, sir. Why did the Duke mean by political turmoil? Wow, that's a long story to explain. Why not? The data will take a while to load. Okay, but I'm not doing that voice anymore. So you understand how constitutional monarchy works, right? Constitutional monarchy. Is that like Great Britain? No? In a constitutional monarchy, the government has a non-party head of state. Yeah, so in our case, it's the Emperor. He is a sovereign that reigns but does not fully rule. Yes, it's like Great Britain. The job of making laws and administering the country goes to the Parliament. So the Emperor has no real power? Far from it. He holds absolute power. He just holds it in reserve and only uses it when he absolutely must. I understand. In Parliament, there are three major factions: the industrialists, the militarists, and the agrarians. How agrarian? The Duke belongs to the agrarian faction. During the Great War, the government invested heavily to improve agricultural infrastructure to ensure that the army would keep being well supplied during the war. For the first time in 2 years, this worked well, and the crop output doubled for the first 2 years. But on the third year, production returned to the amount we had before the war had started. Why, then the Imperial Army and Fleet was at the peak of its size, and was a machine that needed a lot of food to run. The agrarians wanted to impose rations so as not to strain the farms too heavily, but the militarists instead wanted to launch an investigation as to why the farm output was so low. Why can't you do both of those things? At the end, the agrarians managed to convince the industrialists to vote with them, and the audit never happened, and instead the rations were put in place. Fortunately, the war ended a year later, and the ration system was never put into place. A few years after the war, several of the leaders of the agrarian party, all of them wealthy farm and plantation owners, got very rich selling food to the newly conquered parts of the empire. A rumor arose that the new farming technologies and infrastructure had worked well, but the agrarian leadership chose to hide it to continue getting government subsidies, and also to use their extra crops for selling. This enraged the militarists, and ever since there had been bitter rivalry between the agrarian and militarist factions.
What does that have to do with the Duke?
Ah yes, the Duke is one of the leaders of the agrarian party, and made a lot of money after the war. He was one of the men accused of wanting to cheat the Imperial Army of its rations. His biggest detractor was Prince Ludwig, the Emperor's younger brother, a general during the war and a prominent member of the militarist faction.
Prince Ludwig, he's that famous general they call the Red Prince, correct?
Indeed, a title well earned, a military genius from a young age, never lost a single battle, even against a bigger army. Prince Ludwig also controls the police in Skalva.
Hence the Duke's claims that his case is being treated lightly.
Exactly.
Interesting. Dad, the memory is finished uploading. Let's take a look and see what we have inside.
Fantastic, let's see. Interesting.
What is it, sir?
It's a list of all the residents in the Duke's building, including short bios and some data on each of them.
What type of data?
Titles, land registry, estimated net worth, and political affiliation.
Perhaps this belonged to the Duke.
Perhaps, but the Duke seems like the careful type. I somehow doubt that he would leave such an important object just lying around, especially in light of the fact that he knew we would survey the room. I'm inclined to believe that it belonged to the thief. As a type of laundry list of who to rob in the building.
Or who to extort. I was thinking, given security claims that everyone who entered the building on that day was either a guest or a confirmed guest of a resident. I assume that's supposed to say resident or confirmed guest of a resident. Shouldn't we see if any of them had any reason to steal from the Duke? Didn't he say everyone from the building was a member of high society?
Just because they're members of the ruling class doesn't mean that their hands are clean.
Quite the opposite.
I wouldn't say that either. Painting an entire nobility as thieves is just as false as painting them all as saints. But let's just say that some of the people in this building have had to sully their hands to get where they are now.
Or to keep their privileged position. I see.
Theo, do you mind getting that?
On it. Any orders for me, sir?
Nothing for now. We do still have more training wood shells. Would you like to practice more? Boy, would I. That's the spirit. Here, try this one.
But, oh, no, this is a different one. Okay, neat. I imagine...
44 moves. Dang. Good job there. You'll be a pro at this in no time.
So,
who was it?
it was Hull calling from the Dragonfly.
Ah, he's back. Wonderful. Well, has he seen Lansbury?
I don't know.
Why didn't you ask him?
He didn't give me a chance. All he said was to tell you that he's running low on beer and needs you to spot him a case. That's so weird, isn't it?
No, it's code. It means he wants to talk face to face. Something's up. We need to go now.
I was going to call it a day, but I'm damn curious. It's pretty late already. We might encounter some trouble on our way there.
Hull's an old friend, and there's clearly something important he wants to talk about. So we're going, and that's that. Take your gun with you, just in case. Beckwith?
Yes?
Take the wood shell with you. Here, let me grab a gun for you.
It's okay. I have my father's service revolver.
Let's see.
Here.
This gun has gotten your father out of a lot of sticky messes. Let's hope it does you the same service.
I hope so, sir.
Okay then, let's go.
Well, that's grim. The Dragonfly Bar, Haymarket Plaza, Scalva City, Ionian Empire.
Oh!
Captain! Theo! Good to see you guys are okay.
I got your message. Is everything okay?
Yeah, where's that crate of beer?
You can't be serious.
Just kidding. Seriously, I wanted to speak to you face to face.
Of course. What about?
First things first. This guy here with you, new blood?
Ah, this is O'Reilly's replacement, our new codebreaker. He's Marcus Beckwith's boy.
Ah, you're Sergeant Beckwith's son. I should have known. You do look just like him. Your father is an incredible man. Thanks.
Hull here was a lieutenant under me during the war. He served in the same airship as your father and I.
Oh. Here, let's go to the back of the bar so we can have some privacy. I'll have my people bring us some food and drinks. Have you guys eaten yet?
No, we haven't. That's very kind of you.
I'll hang back and watch the door. Besides, I wanted to have a go at your new pool table. Good idea. I'll have my people bring you a sandwich. Much better.
What's going on?
I think my phones are being bugged.
What? What makes you say that?
Lansbury told me.
Oh, you've seen Lansbury. Thank God, I feared the worst.
Well, the last time I saw him was 3 days ago. He passed by the Dragonfly for a drink.
Did he say where he was going?
No, he wasn't himself. He seemed spooked and oddly panicked.
That doesn't sound like Lansbury at all.
I know. Sadly, he only caught me on my way out. He said something about being careful and that we were being bugged. He said someone was going after ex-military PIs like us. I tried to get details from him, but then he got all skittish and ran out of the bar.
Really doesn't sound like Lansbury at all.
When was the last time you saw him, Captain?
A week ago. He was his normal, chirpish, yet reserved self.
Lansbury always seemed a bit too blue-blooded to be a detective.
Well, ever since the financial crash after the war, everyone had to get whatever job they could get with their skill sets. I was surprised that he didn't get a cushy government post after the war. He said that a lot of us ex-military vets became PIs, and I guess he followed suit.
Did he say anything strange before he disappeared?
He said he had a new client, a noblewoman. I asked him if he needed extra muscle on his case, and he said no. He told me that it was probably an open and shut case with easy money. I haven't seen or heard from him since.
God, I really hope that Lansbury is just being paranoid.
Lansbury really isn't the paranoid type, though. I know. What's going on with you? You've been gone for a while.
I had to go on a stakeout in Holloway Key. Key? Is that... My ignorance. Is that Key? I think that's Key. Holloway Key.
Client?
Kind of. More for personal business.
Oh?
I heard a rumor from one of my informants that the Blood Corps was going to crack down on the rum runners. Apparently, they got wind of the news that the rum runners were going to smuggle a huge shipment through Holloway Key.
Did they?
Oh, yes.
And the Blood Corps?
They're waiting for them. It was carnage.
I can imagine. What was in it for you?
I managed to sneak in and save a cabin boy before the Blood Corps raided the place. I got him to tell me where the runners stashed their reserve. After the Blood Corps are finished with the rum runners, I'll go there with my men and check it out.
Ever the entrepreneur, huh?
Hard times. We do what we must to survive.
Indeed.
Who are the Blood Corps? Oh, of course, you're not from Skalva, right? The Blood Corps are a personal police squad of Prince Ludwig. The Red Prince. Yes, the Red Prince. After the war ended, the Emperor gave his battle-hardened little brother the title Constable of the Realm. He then collected the toughest and meanest marauders from his own brigades and called them his personal guard. They're effectively above the law and will use whatever means they please to extract justice. If you ever see one of them, avoid them at all costs. Captain, wasn't it one of those bullies from the Blood Corps that did O'Reilly?
Aye, it was.
Anyway, on to the business I really wanted to talk about. Someone left a wood shell here for you yesterday.
Really? Did your people see who it was?
The bartender said the wood shell left on the table, saw the wood shell left on the table, and underneath it was your name written on a napkin. Could be a trap, though. Here it is.
Thanks. Looks like it could be Lansbury's handwriting. It's a bit rough, though.
Which is why I suspect it could be a trap.
It's very hard to booby-trap a wood shell. They're too light and it's easy to tell.
That's not what I meant by trap. Might be a ruse to lead you on a wrong lead.
Well, if it is, then it should lead me to the culprit eventually. Albeit indirectly.
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
Beckwith, bring this over to Fio and crack it together. I have a few more items I need to discuss with my old lieutenant here. I'll be over later to take a look.
Right away, sir.
All right.
Fio, your father has a wood shell he wants us to crack. Damn it, I was just wrapping up this pool table. Okay, let's do it. Okay, well... I've got... Nope. There we go. thick, meaty tentacle piece. There. Dang it. Dang it. I was hoping I'd get this one done faster. 62. Boo. How are you kids getting along? We just finished cracking it. Pass it over, let's take a look inside. What does it say? Hotel Excelsior, rooftop restaurant. Lansbury? Maybe, only one way to find out. Shall we get going? It's late, we probably can't get in. We'll go tomorrow morning. What if he's waiting for us there? I doubt it. If he was, he'd have put a time. If he was, he'd have put a time to. He'd have put a time too. Probably just another lead. Fair enough. Come on, guys, let's get home. And that, I believe, is where we will leave off. We're going to save. And, thanks, everybody, for joining me today while we've been playing The Agency, Chapter 1. I really enjoyed this little adventure. I'd love to see the rest of it. If you, too, would love to see the rest of it, please give this video some love. Give it the old thumbs up. And remember that the first video on this channel to get 100 likes will get that game a full playthrough as a bonus video for the channel. So if you want to see the rest of The Agency Chapter 1 and possibly Chapter 2, then give this video some love. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, you should probably hit that subscribe button, and when you do, don't forget to hit that dingy bell, because that will let you know when I upload new videos, which I do every single day. My name is Step. We have been playing The Agency Chapter 1 here on Game a Dare today. Thanks so much for joining me on this pretty sweet adventure, and please come back tomorrow when we'll be playing something for Mobile Monday. Thanks, everybody.